6 o'clock. And ask for a motion approval of the minutes of April 15th.
So moved.
Comments, additions, corrections, deletions, anything on the minutes of April 15th?
Do we have a second
Do we need one? No.
on the motion?
I'll second.
Seconded.
Yeah.
He's coming with some, with some copies.
There should have been one in the box. Sorry.
That was the extra one that he had, probably. We got a pile of papers across.
And now there's 3 people fighting
Good
over
Lord.
it.
Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
I'd like Heather a second more.
Okay.
Actually, Chad needs one. He
I'll
does.
take it. I'll take it down to.
Can we get a, while people are reviewing, but I'll bring it up, if we can get a draft of the minutes, maybe sooner instead of,
Oh, they're very late this time. They're usually
Yeah,
out.
they
They're
are.
usually out. And Betty's asked me to email them. I haven't
Okay.
done that, but I will start emailing drafts. Yeah, I used to deliver them too.
okay. I know. That's what I thought.
It's one of my negligences this last
Well,
couple of
it's been a
weeks.
busy week, but
That's grounds for serious reprimand. You know that.
no, it is not grounds for serious reprimand. You are not getting out that easy.
Should be
Oh, I don't
outside.
know.
We should be
I think
outside.
serious reprimand and an order to do, I don't know, 70 or 80 hours of community service for the town.
Bring in a bag of grapefruit for everybody, that's all.
Not forget.
Okay, I'm done.
Anything on the minutes, draft minutes? All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, and I will abstain. Additions and deletions to the agenda. Anyone? Anywhere?
Under old business, Bob will be in, maybe at 9-ish for Valley Cares.
On the old business, Bob will be in, Bob Craig.
Bob Griggo is going to be here after a meeting in Brattleboro,
After-
sometime 8:30.
Around
Something like
8:30
that.
tonight, okay? Anything else? The warrants of May 6th.
Wow.
Someone has to move them.
I will move them if I can have,
Where they all are, other than this one.
other than that one.
That one we want to hold, I believe. But we'll-
Okay. All right. Then I will move that we pay PO 5061, which is Townshend payroll. It's got a period ending date of April 20th, 2013, and it's for the amount of $7,956.73.
Second.
Moved and seconded. comments, questions, or anything on the payroll? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And done.
I move that we pay PO 5062, which is also payroll. This is the taxes. It's got a period ending date of 4/26/2013, and it is in the amount of $3,085.56.
Comments on PO 5062?
We do need a second.
Second. Chad did it.
Wow.
Somebody had it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
I move that we pay PO 5064 for the highway fund with a period ending date of 5/22/13 in an amount of $388.04.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
38804.
38804.
Thank you.
Questions? Anything on 5064? All those in favor? Those opposed? Any abstentions?
I move that we pay PO 5065 in the amount of, it's a town equipment fund. Its period ending date is 5/22/13, and its amount is $1,906.48.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
I move that we pay PO 5066. It's the town general fund with a period ending date of April 30, 2013, in the amount of $34,430.31.
Second.
Moved and seconded for 5066. Comments? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
And finally, I move that we pay PO 5067 and with this is the town general fund in the amount its period ending date is 5/6/2013. Its amount of $10,000. It's the fiscal year 13 fire truck appropriation.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
No abstention.
That is done.
And that leaves PO 5063.
5063, I believe that we're going to table
Until after later in the meeting.
tonight's discussion, so toward the end of the meeting, because it may reflect on
Correct.
what's
Brief
happening.
question. Is this one covered? Because there was money withheld on that one last time. 150 out of equipment.
Yes, that's on the warrant.
That is all set. No,
Okay?
that's about it. Yep.
And you
Okay.
all saw this information that I put
Yes.
in there, correct?
All right. Brings us down to reports. Highway foreman and highway commissioners reports.
They would know that, 'cause I'm sure
Kurt's
that-
here.
Dave and Chad, of course, we meet every Thursday, and I do have feelers off for prices on repairing the sidewalk, upgrading the sidewalk, a couple other first ways of approaching that injury there in the corner of the sidewalk. All depends on what it matches our funds that we have. There is a sidewalk, and when the regional commission told me about it, I got to get the information from them this week. That's who Jamaica went through to get their grant for their sidewalk. So it does take quite a while, probably 1 or 2 years to even approach, the whole thing, because it is a kind of thing. So he's gonna get the information for me, so I can get the ball rolling on it, see if at least we know what we have to add ahead of time. And I did apply for a grant for hazardous rural road, high-risk rural roads. It's going to be for Wind and Hill for the signage and repair and replacement of the guardrail that are inadequate and the standards up on. Talked to Dan Newhall, who's from AOT. We all started about replacements of the sign there because I don't know. Reading that sign book there's so many different ways to approach that hill for signage and stuff. So that's how we got the ball rolling on that. There will be a 10% match on it. I'm pretty positive about fixing all that stuff up there with her.
Is that gonna be a state grant, federal grant, or?
State. High-risk rural roads. Paving, talked about paving last Thursday. Dave's gonna do up a RFP so we can get some prices on that, get the bids out for that.
Paving where?
I would like, the paving's also going to incorporate seal crack to maintain the roads we have paved already. The past couple of projects we have, because they were big projects, and we could protect them for 2 years. So I was thinking the shorter roads off Route 35 that really need some work before we pave them too. Like East Hill, Deer Valley, they're really in bad condition right now. So I just got to get prices and we'll decide where we're going to pave after that. And the seal cracking, I'm waiting for one more bid on that so we can get 3 or 4. And the sidewalks, and we can get the prices back to the general. Most of our spring grading is done. We still have some more roads to do, but the major thoroughfares have all been done. Now we're approaching side roads. I'd like to get everything done at least once before we start working on our project list. We have to get everything done first. I did look at, measure up, and got an idea for that Army trailer down there for the chloride tank. I don't think we're going to need an axle. I think we can make it work the way it is. It's actually 3 inches lower than the 1-ton floor. But the hitch is, I'm going to have to buy some box steel to make the hitch come down. Because the hitch is 18 inches lower than higher than our hitch. That's the big differential there. It's straight out, and the regular hitch is 22 inches. So hopefully I'll get started on that this week. The rubbish truck is all done. Took some time. Made my voyage today down to Brattleboro. Worked great. Everything came out. Passed through, no problem. So all happy with that for now. There's a green update today. We had 1.4 tons of tires. Most of the roads are straight. I really don't remember all those tires being on the side of the road, but maybe I just overlooked them. Not a whole lot of rubbish, not a whole lot of green up bags. Kind of disappointed that there wasn't more effort.
Were a lot of the tires wet?
Some of them, a lot of them.
I just didn't know if they came out strings or anything.
No, not wet like that.
Okay.
Let's see.
We also will be putting an RFP together for logging of the pit.
Oh, yeah.
Because we need to get those trees out there before they start falling down.
So we can keep moving
So
forward
we
with our
can
pit.
move forward with the town pit.
Yeah. There's one thing I'd like to ask Mr. Hearn from the high school. There's a kid, Sam. He's from Grafton. He's in a technology part of his curriculum. 2 hours a day, he either goes to work at the elder care there, or he's helping around the hospital, or just helping out for 2 hours a day, trying to learn different things, different trades. And they asked me if he could work with me do some welding, do some light machining with my tools down my shop and stuff like that. The only hiccup is it's during the day. Now I would take the time off from my time to help this kid out. It'd be 2 hours a day. I'd like to do it for like a week for 2 hours a day at his class time, I mean, it's up to you guys. I'll make it work. It don't have to be the whole week. It doesn't have to be every day in a row or whatever. But I'd like to help the kid out. Mr. Hearns asked me several different times. It's up to you guys.
I think that's something that you can work out with.
I mean, I give up 8 hours or 10 hours of my personal time to help the kid out.
Oh, it was good. I think that's nice you're willing to do that.
Yeah, I do too. And you work it out.
But I wanted to ask select board as a
Yeah.
whole, not just.
Yep.
Other than ever that, everything's been going forward, like I say, I'm checking the data with Chad, checking all the time, and if there's any problems, I always bounce it off of that,
When the Army Corps closes the bridge,
I thought that was supposed to be today, wasn't
It was supposed to be today.
it? It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Saturday,
I mean,
I think it's tomorrow.
are,
I thought he does six,
are
but
you okay with that back road? I mean, that's
well,
nothing.
it is what it is right now. I'm not gonna touch it until I get everything. I mean, I wish I had chloride on it, to be honest with you, but it's not in bad shape right now, and if I scrape it now, it's just gonna get really loose, you know. But it's supposed to rain Wednesday.
Right?
Wednesday it might rain a little bit. But right
Now,
now,
is there any detour signage or anything that we need to put up there? Because it's gonna be a heavy, and there's gonna be people from out of town, I'm just assuming.
right, they're,
I don't know.
they,
Army Corps base.
they should, that should be part of their bid for their contractor. And actually, he should contact mutual aid and the whole gamut of people if he does it, or if they do it, or whoever does it.
But we ought to, and I'm not sure what, but we ought to follow up and make sure that's done. I mean, it'd be kind of too bad that if they didn't do it, we didn't
Yeah.
follow up.
No,
But being a I'm sure they did, I'll check with them, I can run there tomorrow. Being a federal job like that, they gotta need a lot of care.
You don't know who they've hired to do it?
No, I stopped in there, Greg, when did you email me that? 2 weeks ago?
yeah, 10 days.
It was last week.
There wasn't much notice, but.
Last week, the one right after you did it,
Yeah.
and I stopped in there, and of course, nobody's, I don't know where they go. And the gate was locked for the spillway or for the picnic area. So nobody was there.
But that's gonna be closed for how long?
It was a week, wasn't it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
26,
So that was 2
26,
weeks.
yeah.
So I'm sure,
And I think the beach is open. I think somebody said that they've opened up.
yes, that was part of your email, I thought.
Well, they were going to do that, I thought maybe the 15th, but I think it's.
I thought you said the rec area.
But anyway, they're gonna have to detour around to get there.
Did they ever dredge that?
No, not yet. The only other issue, and we'll discuss it, but we had one review,
Mhm.
and the other reviews will be happening over the next several weeks. So, but we'll discuss that in the executive session.
What about line striping?
The line striping,
I did call those people on the line strike.
No,
You
as
mean-
far as the parking areas and stuff that.
Oh, that's
Billy
right,
Joyce.
I'm glad you reminded me. Bill Joyce asked me either Friday or Saturday, do you guys want your parking line striped and all that right now? You're good to go with him doing it?
I talked to him today on that. Again, it was because he hadn't heard from anybody, and I said, bring it up at the meeting tonight or talk to you about it. There is apparently an issue with one crosswalk at Grace Cottage Hospital over to the pharmacy, which has not apparently been approved by the state or D-Trans or something.
No.
He was reluctant to do that, even though they pay him to do that. He was reluctant to do that because it's a town highway and liability may fall to the town if we let them do that kind of thing. But anyway, he was hoping that the D-Trans, somebody would sign off and say, this is okay to have crosswalk here.
There were two of them.
Well, one of them's legitimate, one, the parking lot's okay.
Right, but there is a problem with two crosswalks being so
I
close.
understand. So he was reluctant to do it without the town saying it's okay to paint a town road and put a crosswalk in. Just because the hospital is paying me to do it doesn't mean that I can necessarily do it without town approval. And he would like the state to sanction it. Just trying to protect the town. But other than that, he'd like to go ahead and get a parking lot.
we should know in the next, by the next select board meeting, what roads for sure we're planning to resurface. And then we should have a better idea.
But
So give
what
us-
he's asking though is the crosswalk, right? And that's,
What he's asking is
The
the crosswalk.
parking places and the crosswalk.
And that'll give us a chance to
Well, he can do.
do that.
You can do the parking.
He can do the parking spots and just tell them not to do it.
Well, that's on Grace County Hospital anyways. That's their, they pay them to do that one. The rest of them are on the town, parking spaces by Dr. Walsh.
Right, but we'll tell him not to do that until we have
Until you have a
authorization
conversation.
or whatever.
yeah, I mean, can you check with, or one of you, to check with the state and see what the statutes say about that crosswalk being so close together? Is that what the issue is?
Right.
and see if that's okay or not okay. I mean, he's just asking us, because the hospital's gonna pay for it, but he's just asking us. So
He bounced it off.
we don't wanna give permission unless we get the information from the state.
Do you have time to take a look at that? You make that phone call?
Yeah, I can do it. Well,
So are we saying to go ahead with parking spaces before,
As long as we're not planning to pave or doing crack sealing on, say, Common Road, because we paid to put a crosswalk at their Common Road. And that was the only reason why I was holding off, so that we can make sure that we're not going to be putting crack sealing in before, after this.
But that, the crack sealing's not gonna be done until the budget comes in, until the summer, so.
Yeah, I would say, well, a little bit of traction, a little bit of traction.
Okay.
The one that,
I
Oh,
told
you want me to call Bill also?
I told him I'd call him tomorrow, but if you're gonna call him, that's fine.
I can,
You want the number?
yeah.
9477.
anything else on highway?
Yeah. Is anything being done about our right of way out here?
Yes.
Can you give us an update on that? I mean, obviously, if we're talking about more work on the heating systems.
There is a right of way, we've seen it in one group of plans, and it does follow that old road bed upside the stone wall that we would just need to enhance, cut some trees down. The top part of the hill is a little bit steep, so we need to make it all the same grade, and then we need to bring in some stonework.
And is there a plan for doing that?
Not yet.
We need to site burial of the tank if the board is gonna, or if the town hall is gonna have a propane tank buried, especially out there. Before you bring that up, because you're gonna wanna do a turnaround or a parking area or something. When you bring that road up, you're gonna need to be able to turn around. But anyway, where that tank goes is gonna make a difference in how far you extend.
And in talking with the propane dealer, he didn't recommend putting the tank out here because he didn't want to back a propane truck up beside the high school.
And it's over 100 feet to that lot down there.
Correct. So if we sited a propane tank and buried it beside, between the south side of the town hall and the neighbor, then it would have access from the street. About the only thing that we might want to site out here would be an emergency generator, but we really can't get into that in the next,
Just have it planned, have a plan for when we do that, so it's
for
not.
whenever we do that, so that there's also room for parking for all that.
Is there room enough to put that between out here and not be under the eaves for the winter and anything like that? You can do that?
But if you have the generator, it's gonna be a propane generator though too, right?
It is going to be a propane generator. Yes. But since the line already comes part way around. So,
Well, I think regardless, we need to get the plans up for our right of way and get that road out back here.
Didn't Ron have a plan for that at one time?
No, I think
Steve,
we're also, I don't remember.
he did have one for it, but it came down beside
Beside the building.
the building, not out the back. So we need to get plans together for that.
Or in the back from the Blue Gray parking lot out to here.
Seems like it'd be a good idea to get that done during the summer when they're not in session next door.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you're gonna have half the kids staring out the window watching you work.
what are we using the access for?
Well, for one thing, there's potential for parking there. For another, just to be able to drive up to where the cellar is.
And access the basement.
Yeah,
Now, I think we ought to establish that, or reestablish that
Yeah.
access. Anyhow, I mean, I know we talked about it for the burial of the propane tank, and if that's not okay because of its proximity with the school, you may want to look at, but I still think we should have access out back. I mean, that's in the long-range plan.
And-
I'm not
You
sure
need to
about,
clean out the basement here, and you need
yep,
some way to get.
We have truckloads of stuff down there still. that
We
needs
have
to be-
had discussions with members of the Living Room Grace staff, and they're aware that it's there, so we need to finalize it and then bring it back to their attention. So, okay.
anything else with highway?
Not from me.
Anybody? Thank you, Kurt. Law enforcement report. One here from law enforcement. This is a place, have we appointed anyone from the board to be the liaison? Because Jeff was, and he's no longer on the board.
I thought we had appointed the constables,
Liaison with the sheriff.
liaison to the sheriff.
Okay.
If they're a liaison between us and the sheriff, they need to have some communication with us occasionally, like show up.
Would you like him invited for our meeting?
Well, I guess I didn't realize that's what we had done. I thought that we had a board member that was going to work in conjunction with the sheriff's department, which has been historical. I certainly don't mind the constables being liaisons, but maybe at least once a month, somebody stop by, even if they just say, nothing to report, things seem to be going okay, if you've got anything for us.
Would you like a motion to
Because some-
nominate the chair as liaison to the?
Well, because summer's coming up and there's a lot of things,
I don't
a
think
lot of events that go on in town. And I'm not sure how that's gonna work in conjunction with the board and the constable / sheriff's department. And again, I don't mind the constables doing that as long as we get them to come in.
Well, I want to hear from them that they're willing to do it. I mean, if they're not going to be very effective at it. So I think they need to be here, Craig.
If you could ask them to attend the next meeting.
I'd also like to ask them if either one or both of them have signed up for the VLCT, the Animal Control Workshop. Seems like that would
When
be...
is that?
I don't remember what date it is, but seems like it would be useful for them.
It would be if they're aware of it. In my absence, I don't know if any of this happens, that's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never know who gets those newsletters. I just love those emails where you can't tell who all they went
That's
to.
it, yeah, but that certainly sounds like something that would support the constable's form.
Oh, yeah.
All right, town clerk's report. Has everyone had a chance to review the town clerk's financial
I think
report?
so.
Any questions or anything on the town clerk's financial report?
Nope.
Bookkeeper and treasurer.
Okay, I've still not heard back from anyone from the state about what our additional funds on the dam are going to be. If I don't hear from someone by the next select board meeting or prior to that, I will try to call them and see where they're at least to let us know approximately what we might be getting, so that when we set taxes, we have that information. So I have not heard a thing since Mary was here a couple weeks ago. We had 4 tax sales a couple of weeks ago. All the properties sold. One of them was redeemed the following week. So we actually have 3 accounts open for the other properties till those are redeemed or the year's time is up. Last meeting, I brought up about the program from Efficiency Vermont that Jamaica had done about changing over their streetlights to the LEDs, and I finally heard back from the gentleman at Efficiency Vermont. So I think maybe if we can just put that on the agenda for the next meeting, we can go over, is that they have a memorandum of understanding, and we can talk about what their requirements are and whether or not we want to pursue it to get a grant. There's, a certain amount of work, prep work that you have to do, and, get a plan together and a budget together and so on and so forth. And they help do that, but then we can find out if we qualify for any money
Can
from
you
them to do
send
it.
that information to us beforehand?
Yes, yeah,
And that's just for streetlights.
that's just for streetlights, yeah. Yep. Property taxes, we still have outstanding on the first 3 payments, a little over $98,000. We did send notices out a couple weeks ago, I guess it was. I think a few things have trickled in since then. So from those notices, we are still getting some in from those.
Got a couple today.
Okay, so, that, will help a little bit with those. I'm sure come the end of the year, we're gonna have a certain amount unpaid. We are currently have a little over $270,000 in the checking account before these warrants. So we're okay on the money front. Did the last appropriation there on the fire truck, so we have that out of the way. And I think that was it for me.
Fourth quarter's due, the end of this month.
31st.
May 31st, yep. Yeah, May 31st.
Did you do a sweep account?
Did I do a what?
A sweep account
For what?
for the general fund.
We've always had a
We've always
secret
had
account.
that, okay, so that's always what.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? Joe, you have anything?
No.
Somebody? Questions from the bookkeeper, anybody? No? Short and sweet tonight, thank you.
Thought I'd keep it down.
Good. Emergency Management Director.
Just to let everybody know that in addition to the Mommy Market running this weekend, Saturday morning there's going to be a 5K health fair run up and down Route 35. So it's going to kick off about 8:30. At 7:45 we're going to cone the Common Road and put some cones in Route 35 just to keep the runners on the correct side of the road. They like, as they get closer to the Common, they like cutting the race course short. So we're going to try to keep them so that they're running against traffic. The Sheriff's Department will be on both ends. And we'll have radio communication from the Common, several different points up and down the route so that we can make sure that we don't lose anybody, and at the turnaround. And we expect everything to be cleaned up by 11 a.m.
That's it.
That's it.
Questions from anybody? Nobody? Okay, moving right along, we've asked to meet with David Mazeroff, and we have him on the agenda for 7. Is that when we asked him to come in?
Yes. And the lister should be here now.
And we're waiting on the listers also. So those of you that are here to address the appraisal part and stuff, you'll be here at 7. And I apologize for thinking that it was going to be earlier, but that's the way that it had been asked to show up.
Yeah, and he apparently has appointments with people up until
7, because he had made that in his letter.
Okay, well, they'll be back. I think there are other people who were told to be here at 7.
So I just assume go ahead with it, but if he's not available, and the listers aren't going to be here till 7, is that when they were?
They were asked to come at 7.
They were
just because.
So the listers are supposed to be here also, and they're asked to be here at 7. And again, I apologize to anybody, I wasn't aware of that until it was too late. So we will leave that for a moment and go over into Are there any other members of the public here that have any issues aside from the appraisals? Okay. So we'll go to correspondence from Dashi, Kramer, and the Mats. Or do you want to wait for the listers also? I think they're part of that.
They are. I just wanted to acknowledge that Dashi Kramer did send correspondence subsequent to his meeting with the listers and a willingness to try to correct some of the issues that were raised at that meeting. But the board will need to talk to the listers or the public about that.
All right, so that's another issue that we need to take up with the listers, correct?
Yes.
Remapping?
Yes.
All right.
I think municipal officer appointments are the only thing.
All right, so we're going to old business with the municipal officer appointments.
You need a second appointment to Wyndham Solid Waste Management, and we still need two to Wyndham Regional Commission, among others. But Wyndham Solid Waste wants a backup for her so-called. Bruceville has had done it in years past.
Do we know he's not willing to continue?
I hadn't talked to him on that. I know that he did not attend the meetings and all that, but it was just in case Irv was away or was ill or it was. They'd like to have two people go, but it is principally a backup, so that somebody could be potentially familiar with what the issues are
So,
at the board meetings.
so I'm gonna, again, in my absence, I don't know, these are all still empty with there's no name?
Well, there's no names, yes.
These are the only ones that have been appointed so far this year?
No, we've done quite a few.
Yeah, we've done them.
You've done them?
Well, quite a few more than that.
Oh, all
We
right.
didn't have many left.
I apologize if I was here, but
No, I'm looking for my list. It's
I just got this in my box, so that's why I...
Yeah,
but that's, your box goes back a month.
I think we'll get to it, yeah.
I'm sure I have mine here, I just don't know where. I have all the last meeting stuff here.
Okay, I can list what's open. I can't photocopy this, but I can probably do that. If you want to just check on this, or check on your, as to what you may need to look at. Energy coordinator, last year was Clay Tarbell. It's about 6 down from the top.
Turnbull.
I'm sorry, Turnbull, yeah. Howard Legacy is still open.
Wait a minute, who was the Howard
I'm
Legacy?
sorry, Howard Legacy was Carol Mellis, Ellen Fuller, and Ernest Redfield.
Okay, and Carol has said she doesn't. No, that one she's okay with.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna, there's only a couple here that are open, so let me just
Yeah,
give
well,
you those.
the other two, it was up to me to call and I haven't yet.
Okay. Inspector of Wood and Timber is still open. That was Otto Tarbell. Pound Keeper is technically the select board. I mean, that's what it was last year. I think that's what it is this year. The animal control officers right above that are the constables, and that was a reappointment. Let's see, going down the line. Social Services Screening Committee, you have last week appointed, or last meeting, Maggie Bills was appointed to that.
Oh, shoot, so that's not empty.
That's not empty, but Ellie Lemire was not reappointed and Barbara Verdorf was not reappointed, so there are two open slots on that.
Did they
So-
not want to do it? Or
I-
did
No,
they not?
no, we can reappoint them.
Yeah, I'm just saying those hadn't been done.
No, I'm saying we can do that right now.
On the Business Loan Committee, that is still open. That was Carol Mellis and Sally Winchester.
Right, that's the one that needs,
Yeah.
Really?
Your tree warden needs to be filled. And that was Carl Steiner.
Yeah, and I apologize, I haven't had a chance to call
That's
Mr.
okay.
Stein.
And just Valley Cares Board was done last week with Margaret Bills. And Wyndham Regional Commission, you had Brad Horn and Clay Turnbull.
And I still owe them a call, so I'll be,
And we need one more for Wyndham Solid Waste. And I'm sorry that's not on there, but.
So let me just, so I understand, the ones that are open are the ones that we need to yet appoint.
Right.
Energy coordinator,
Yes,
Howard Legacy,
yes.
3 spaces in Howard Legacy?
3 spaces an hour.
No,
2.
two.
But
Carol
two.
Carol Mellis said
Carol
she
will
would do that.
Okay,
And I haven't called the
so
other.
we gotta call,
Right, but she hasn't been nominated or approved in the minutes
Okay.
yet, so you have 3
Yeah,
openings.
okay.
well, I'll do that right now. I'll make a motion that, well, the chair
You
can't
can.
make a motion.
I'll nominate Carol Mellis for the
Howard Legacy.
Howard Legacy, thank you.
Second.
Don't need a second.
Moved and seconded that we appoint Carol Mellis for the Howard Legacy. All those, discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, any abstentions? And then you're gonna contact Ellen and
Yeah,
Teddy? Okay.
yeah.
So the next one that we need to fill will be Inspector of Wood and Timber.
Yes.
I'm supposed to talk to Colorado.
You did?
No, I have to.
Okay, so we'll leave that until you talk to him. And the next one is Social Services Screening Committee.
Okay, I can right now nominate Barbara Bedortha and Ellie Lemire for that. We had already elected Maggie Bills,
So
right?
she's already
Yes.
done, okay.
Yeah, okay, so it's
Okay.
just the other 2.
All right,
So I nominate them.
second, somewhere?
No need a second
No?
for
All right,
nominations.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, they said they'd do it, I'm sure. Business Loan Committee, Carol Mellis and Sally Winchester.
I have not talked to Sally. Carol is not willing to do it. And I think it may make sense to talk to Bob Servo as the chair of or the president of the Townshend Business Association about whether they want to appoint somebody to that.
Well, it sounds like you just volunteered to do that.
Did it sound like
It
that?
sounded exactly like that.
Congratulations. Betty will take
Thank
care
you.
of it.
Okay. I actually did approach
Sally?
Liz Harrison, and she says she's got no time.
And Sally Winchester, who has been on it, has she been?
She's seriously gimping around again. I don't know. She broke her kneecap into 4 pieces. Yeah, sounds like fun, doesn't it? So I need to
Check with her if you.
check with her. So I will do that.
Thank you. Tree warden,
Tree
Carl
Warden, I'll call
Stunner.
Mr. Steiner.
Okay. Next one is Wyndham Regional.
I'll be calling Brad Horn and Clay Turnbull.
Thank you. And we're looking for another person to work with Irv on Wyndham Solid Waste.
Well, I'm wondering if it might make sense to ask Irv if there's somebody he has in mind
That would make a lot of sense.
to work with him. I can do that.
Thank you. So that takes care of the appointments for tonight, am I correct?
Yeah, David,
Ma'am,
when you talk to those people, would you have a discussion with them about how involved they really are?
oh, definitely,
Wyndham
making sure
Regional.
that they're bringing information to us on a routine
Yeah.
basis.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to assume the rest of these people have been contacted and are willing to serve.
Yes.
Okay. Any other old business? We are postponing the Valley Cares contractual matters under old business waiting for Bob Crago. New business. My plate is empty. Does anybody have anything to bring up?
Oh, please, no new business.
Oh, never know. Never know. Any other business?
Move that we adjourn until 7 o'clock.
Motion's made. Second. Seconded to adjourn, recess until 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna let us
Well, I thought we were. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. And again, I apologize to those of you who I said would be here. I thought we had turned in, but. Back to order at 7:02. And I want to thank the listers and Mr. Mazar for coming in. The reason we've asked you in here is because as soon as the reappraisal letters seem to come to the citizens in town, I know I for one, and I know a number of other board members, telephones haven't stopped ringing. There are a number of people here tonight I know that have questions and concerns about the letter that was sent out. So we, as a board, kind of come under the firing line, and I personally didn't really know what's going on, and I had some issues, questions to have to do with the letter that was sent out. And I think that I don't know how to say it because I'm not exactly sure of all of the issues, but I do know, to start with, the ID numbers are wrong. That's since been corrected. All right? The land parcels were wrong, and that has since been corrected, I believe. So,
What do you mean the land parcels?
well,
The acreage.
the acreage and the number.
Okay.
But in the evaluation, the reappraisal letters that were sent out, there's nothing there to compare or know whose property or what has been reevaluated. So if somebody wants to come in and grieve or discuss, as it was suggested in this letter, we really don't know what we're discussing and what we're talking about. So it's really caused quite an uproar in town. Further, as this continued on, we began to have a few issues of how far along the appraisal has come and what our outcome is going to look like, and where some of the numbers on the appraised properties come from. One of our greater concerns lies in what the grand list is going to look like. I guess I should back up a little bit to make sure that everything is going to be done and completed in time for us to lodge a grand list, in time for people to grieve appropriately. I know we're coming under the gun now, and I believe that the contract stated that was supposed to have been completed by May 1st. I would hope that new letters of appraisal will be sent out with some comparisons, because there are particular things under state statute that need to be in a notification letter and that are not in this letter as agreed. So, and I think and hope that you folks are aware of those, so I won't spend a lot of time going down, you know, what needs to be in those letters. Notification reappraisals. So that's an issue of whether everybody in town is going to get another letter. Somehow to straighten out the confusion with the citizens of the town and help my phone and the rest of our phones to stop ringing. When we get to the grand list, the concern is where that's going to land. I think most people understand that the appraisal on a property, the town will adjust the tax rate because the town has to raise X number of dollars. So even if your property is appraised at $100,000, we have to adjust it. It doesn't matter. The tax rate is set for us to raise enough money. However, the grand list has a major impact on the CLA and how much money we send as a sending town in the education department. Therefore, I think we're all concerned about what that grand list is looking like and where those numbers come up. What am I missing?
Where all the records are.
There were some folks that came in to the lister's office asking for their cards and their records and were told that they were not here. And it's our understanding that you have them at your home and taken them out of the town hall. That was our understanding, so we can just clear that up and on, because there's a fireproof file for those, am I correct? And they should not leave the premises at all. And I'm sure that someone in the audience will speak to that at some point, because we'll give them an opportunity also. Other questions or comments from the board? I just want to make sure we're just covered. I mean, we kind of got to throw everything out here, so I feel like the citizens of town are in an uproar. I'm surprised there's not more folks here tonight from the way my telephone rang, and there's a lot of misunderstanding from this letter. And I think it has created misunderstanding and a lot of questionables about how accurate is this appraisal and what's going on, at least from me and the rest of the board. So our goal here tonight is to kind of quell that and get it straightened out. A number of people have come in, and I certainly want to give them an opportunity to ask questions. And it may be good to hear from them, and then we'll throw it over to you if that agenda works all right. Do we have any other?
Yeah, the question of the United States list being certified.
We wanted who this was.
In the contract, there was supposed to be a certified project supervisor overseeing you 100% of the time, and we don't know who that is.
You looking for any answer for that right now?
Yeah, sure.
I am certified as a project supervisor. I am qualified to conduct this reappraisal. And I am certified by the state of Vermont, Department of Value. And I believe there were people who were checking into that earlier this week, and I'm surprised that, as much as people were kind enough to inform you of negative comments, Mr. Chairman, that they would have at least passed that information on.
That you are, yes, and they did do that.
Good.
In fact, they did. But my interpretation, our interpretation of the contract is that there will be a Vermont, it says the company, meaning you, the company shall ensure that a Vermont Department of Taxes certified project supervisor will oversee the work on the reappraisal 100% of the time. Now, we may be misinterpreting that.
I believe you are.
All right.
I assumed that would be David, but
It is.
It is.
It is.
okay.
And he is certified. I mean,
And I have supervised this job 100%.
Okay.
Tim was awesome.
And the other question was, your employees, and I wasn't going to get into the contractual stuff, but that you only employ personnel that are certified in Vermont, correct?
They have Vermont certification.
Certifications.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Other things from the board at this point in time? So, I don't know if you want to respond now or if you want to hear from the public and then respond. I mean, it's kind of like we're all kind of just whatever.
Whatever the board would like.
All right, so will raise my hands.
I'd like to hear him answer your question before I hear what he says about how we did this and how you're coming out.
Okay. I mean,
I'm sure there's gonna be questions directed at him, but I would like the questions the board asked answered.
Okay?
sure.
If I may, I did bring a few statistics with me for the board's benefit and the public's, apparently. The first thing I did with the reappraisal was look at the town. I examined the data. I visited, or my representatives visited the properties in town. We were given a current property assessment card to go out with as a guideline, and from those cards we physically remeasured the property, verified the data, recorded new digital photography, front, back, outbuildings, views of the land, if it's so, we felt it was so pertinent. We then took that information, we entered it into a copy of the database, which was provided to us. So we did not disrupt the typical grand list activities of the listers. For someone to say that they were denied the information, that doesn't really make sense to me, because the information is in the system, and their card can be printed at any time they would request it. Changes to the properties as a course of a reappraisal are preliminary at this point in time. And once again, for people to, I'm sorry to hear the board was inundated with phone calls, really, because I put my phone call on the letter, and that was printed right, but no one called. I received about 40 to 50 calls of folks who came in, and I had some very good conversations with those taxpayers. Some of them provided information of their own that helped clarify certain issues that certain blanks at this point in time that only they could fill. Some of them came in with appraisals, and our values were very much in line with many of those appraisals. So, so far so good in that respect. But the data, to get back to what I've done, I've examined the data, I entered the data, I went out and saw the sale properties. From those sale properties, I developed my model. My model is a set of benchmarks for land valuation, for building costs. I then took those models that I developed, I applied them to the sale properties themselves, and I had very good success with those models. The models themselves, the results of those, let's see, for an all sales ratio, this is all of the sales, improved and land only. This is everything. Look, for examining the ratio of the sale to the preliminary value, I do have a median ratio right now at 100%. It's 100. A COD right now of 12.83. The current ratio of all values using the same sales, using the current assessments, yields an average of, let's see, all sales using old values, 1.135 as a median, just under 14% higher than market value. That's the assessment, mind you. The COD is at 27.33, and the weighted, which is the total value of the sale and the total value of the assessments themselves. The weighted value, the ratio is 1.07%. So it's everything is above market value currently. by examination of the current assessments. And I say that because you've got to know where you are to know where you need to go. I then took those old sales and I looked to see where the bulk of, where were they inequitable? More so in the land or perhaps in the improved? So I broke it down by that strata, land and improved. The land using the sales, the numbers I came up with, was a COD of over 32. That's extremely high. Anything over 20 is not acceptable to the state. And a COD, just for those who I mean, who would know? It's jargon as far as you're concerned. A COD is, say, you know, with the clock over Hetty's head, say that clock is a bullseye, and that's 100% market value. And I take my shotgun and I'm looking to hit that in the middle, boom, and that thing leaves a blast. Well, that blast, all those pellets are the sale properties, and what we're measuring the degree of percent from that 100 bullseye middle outwards. So if it's 20%, the 20 would be in here, 30 would be out here, 40 would be out there, to give you an idea of how it's measured. So Townsend was well in their 20s to begin with as a whole. Now, that shotgun blast is much tighter to the 100 percentile, to that bullseye. It's 12, 13% as opposed to, you know, 25, 27%.
As a result of your reappraisal.
As a result of this, so far, of the reappraisal, Mr. Chairman. That's all sales. Then what I've also got to do is break the new stuff down too. Because one thing I did see as a course of my examination, your COD was fairly high, but your level of appraisal was very good. You were close to 100%. And that really can be misconstrued or misleading to the public. Because if they're under the impression they're at 100%, they're under the impression that things are equitable. When you can have inequitable values and a good level of assessment. That shotgun blast that I just referenced, your level of assessment is merely that one, is the median ratio of all the numbers, but that blast can really be all over the place. So to have both in good ranges is most desirable. That's where things are right now, and I'm happy to report that to the board. The meetings that I had this week with taxpayers, I thought went very well. I will be adjusting the preliminary values based on these discussions with taxpayers over this week and into next week, and I will wrap that up. More people have come out. More people are still calling, and I've been returning their requests. I have really. I have gone the extra mile for this town because when I started this, I remember Mr. Hunt looking at me and saying, you know, we really need good numbers here. And I never forgot that. That was important. It's always important to me when I do these reappraisals. You need good numbers. And if we keep the focus on getting good results, I think we'll all be happy. The question of the letter that went out to the taxpayers. I apologize to the board and to the public if it was misleading. What can I say?
Dave, what was supposed to be in that letter?
Just a preliminary value and my phone number, and if you have any questions on that value you would like to discuss your preliminary assessment, and you came in. No more or less.
I didn't get any answers. But I thought that was not the letter that we're
So
supposed to get.
when we begin, let him finish first, and then we'll begin with that, okay?
You should lose your train of thought.
Yeah, I know.
But in meeting with the taxpayers, I am in the process of wrapping this project up now so that the listers can begin to prepare the values for the grand list. I would anticipate the grand list to be on time. You were mentioning that a booklet, a letter to your townspeople. That was always the case. We discussed this at the onset of this project. There would be a formal letter. It would come from the listers with the booklet. We did not want to flood the town people with conflicting booklets in preliminary stages and pre-grievance stages, as we put it. And as far as the preliminary letter that I sent out, the first reaction to some people were, oh, you have to send out another letter right away. To me, and maybe for me it's because I work in these numbers all the time. A lot of people don't really even know the property ID number. They don't.
That's right.
I'm just making a statement. That doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. But the values are correct. That's the bottom line. That is the most important thing. And maintaining trust is the most important thing. Now, if I go sending a letter because and the ID is off, which does not dictate value, it has nothing to do with value, I'm promoting a lack of confidence in my value to the public.
That's right. This letter does that.
And to send another letter, Mr. Chairman, it would be worse. The correct value went to the correct taxpayers. I regret that the mail merge yielded a shift in the parcel ID number, but that has nothing, no bearing whatsoever with the values that are created within that assessing software itself. They are totally unrelated, and I can't stress to the board enough that is the case. Listeners, am I missing anything? There's a lot to answer all at once.
Yes, there is.
When we in the lister's office do our grand list abstract, then a formal legal letter goes out with everything from the post office. Certified mail. This is not that. This is a preliminary. He's doing it.
And therein lies
to try to help.
And therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Because it was interpreted as the reappraisal. They knew it was supposed to be completed by the 1st of May. You know, the taxpayers in town, and they got this, and they thought this is their reappraisal, and they have nothing to go, and then they look at the parcel ID number on here, and that is it. So you understand, I certainly understand why the taxpayers are upset. And I'd like to hear now by a show of hands from them, and I'd like to have you at least just state your name so we know who we're talking to. And the lady in the back first.
Lady next.
The lady in the back, and then the lady in the front.
I'm Diana Lane, and my house used to be the old hardware store. It's now River Valley
Just
Credit.
keep talking, please, just.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first thing, I'm really surprised my house has grown. It's sort of surprising. It's the listers appraised it and measured it 2001. It was, not counting the garage, it was 4,405. The garage, 490, brought it up to 4,895, including the garage. He has now shown my garage went up to 520 when it was 490. That's sort of surprising to me. And the total square footage he got was 5,171 when it was 4,895. So that's, you know, but I know I have an odd building, and I know it's hard to measure it. It does look like you might have measured the first floor and the perimeter of the first floor, and then went scaling right on up, which isn't the way my building is. It's quite a bit set back on the second floor and the third floor. So maybe that's the confusion. But the other thing, when I questioned him on Friday, mine went from 279 to, no, I'm sorry, mine went from $273 to $398. And I said, so where did we get that $398? And he said, the credit union. I said, okay, what does that mean? He said that I should be renting out the credit union. This is good, guys, you're gonna love it. At $103 a square foot. That would mean the bank would pay me $108,000. See, I can't even say it. It's so astonishing to me. A year. Can you imagine River Valley Credit Union paying me $100,000 a year to rent that? They would go get their own building. They'd probably buy Nick's building. You know, it's $130. Why not buy that one instead of paying me $100,000? And I said at the time, I received $10 a square foot in rent from the credit union. And he repeated, well, 103 would be the going rate per square foot. It's not the going rate in Townsend. I also could not sell my house for $398. It's just not going to happen. So the square footage seems wrong to me. The value of the credit union seems wrong to me. And had it jumped so much, it's just surprising to me. I'm disappointed.
That sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, a place for when she gets her formal appraisal to, at that point in time, with the attorney to agree. Am I right to do that? That's right.
And if I can make one comment on this, as far as measurements go, the last reappraisal done in 2007, highly dubious. A lot of bad data there. So if there are changes, I would be inclined to think that Dave and his people have done a far better job, more accurate job than the previous firm that we had last time.
Kathy?
I would like to address the issue of the cards not being available, and that was me that caused that mistake. Because when I received my letter and noticed the parcel number was incorrect, I came into the lister's office the first day you were there and asked for a copy of my new card, specifically my new card. And I was told that they would not be available until after the grievance process, and that was from Rob. Robin,
I told you exactly.
And I found it.
We don't have the new cards.
okay.
Really?
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish my statement? Which, based on the fact that that information for my property, the calculations for the house, I was unable to obtain prior to going in to speak to him. And what that has done, it has not allowed the taxpayers to check for errors or anything else that might have been in the new appraisal, something that's been missed. And quite frankly, I received a copy of it from the appraiser. He sent it to me in the mail. He was very kind about it. It came in the mail today. And there were some corrections that he did make that were incorrect on the last card.
Did you offer an appointment to come in and talk to him?
I wasn't home. I have been in Maryland. You gave me less than 24 hours to talk to you and make an appointment and talk to him. So yes, I had to do it via the mail, and I got the card today. But my point is, it's very difficult to come in and try to discuss the appraisal on your house when it's not grounded in anything. If you can't see the calculations, you can't see the square footage like Mrs. Blaine is talking about. But he had them for the people who made an appointment, but not for anybody who had a question.
He could have pulled them up on the computer and printed it out for you on the spot.
Well, he didn't for me, and I did ask for it too. But he gave it later. It's okay.
The point is, when I asked for it, I was not in the mode to grieve it. I just wanted to check and make sure that things were correct, because I knew there were things that were incorrect on the last card. And I was not able to get it prior to being able to go in to speak to this gentleman. That's my point.
I respond to that, Kathy. Until we put in the abstract of the grand list, the listers do not have privy to the new lister's card. All we have is what reflects the current grand list. Once the abstract has been in, the moment that that is presented to the state, then we have all the new.
And I understand that, but what my point is, you're asking us to grieve something based on no information.
In other words, how can anybody question this reappraisal if they don't have the new information that this reappraisal is based on?
You don't know if your property went up or down.
Right.
It just states a new number. You have to look at your tax bill to see if it actually increased. I mean, most people know, but nonetheless.
Oh, I think so.
Well, yeah, they do, but not everybody does. People live out of state, people who have their taxes paid by the bank, those kinds of things. Suddenly you have a new value, and you don't know why it's a new value. You also don't know why it's gone up or down, but you also don't know whether it's gone up or down, unless you go to your own.
So responding to this letter makes it much difficult.
May I address that statement?
You finished?
Are you finished? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I am. I will sit down.
Well, grieve. You know, I would have grieved, but I didn't have the card. You know, it's not a grievance at this point in time. Maybe I'm the one that's missing something here. Because this is your opportunity to come in and discuss the value. If there is an error, if there is anything that is inconsistent, I've bent over backwards for the last 40, 50 people that came in here over the last 3 or 4 days. Really, it doesn't sound like that because I'm sorry there was one person that's not happy with it. But I have been
That's wonderful.
Yes.
I've got to say that I have gone as far as I can to be accommodating to the taxpayers of Townshend in coming in to question a preliminary value. I would have been happy to have made a copy of something for them. I would entertain all reasonable requests, you know, reasonable.
Okay, next. Annette,
I met with David on Friday.
say who you are.
I have to look at him? My name is Annette Lee. I met David on Friday. The main objection I have, and I think it's a very serious one, that nobody walked through my house to look to see what was done. I told you that. And yet, a new appraisal amount in the amount of $73,000 less on my property, making it, much, much less. I'm not going to live here forever, like I told you. I don't care about my taxes going lower, but I do care about a house that I put a lot of money into that it sells for what it's worth. That's my grievance. How did that figure come up without somebody going through and looking at everything? By the way, I put it there.
So again, it comes back to the letter, and nothing there for the taxpayer to refer to.
My name's Anita Bean, town clerk. I have gotten so many phone calls from people. I beg to differ. They do notice their parcel ID number is incorrect. Chad Greenwood's mother, I talked to her tonight, Judy Gould. She wants a letter with her correct parcel ID. She said, how do I know that's my parcel ID? I now have property in Townshend Acres and another one that's in foreclosure. How do I know that value is correct? Because it's got my name and the value? The parcel IDs are wrong. There are several people that called me. Janice Brown, Judy Gould, Carol Kent, Annette Lee. Nobody even went into their houses. The old Janos building, the guy is up in arms. Nobody even went into that building to check and see. They just doubled the value. That's it. Never even went and looked. Some people didn't even get a value. Howard Graff, Deborah Litchfield, no value whatsoever, just the letters. Now, I'm sorry, but we're paying $60,000 for something that should be done correctly. In my opinion, everybody should get a new letter with their right parcel ID and their right value. Simple as that. That's what we're paying for. And people are angry, and I don't blame them. And they do know their parcel IDs. Believe it or not, a lot of people actually do know their parcel IDs. We had a gentleman today that came in at the end of the day, and he asked me, are we changing parcel IDs? I said, no. They were incorrect. That's wrong. And it makes the town look sloppy, in my opinion.
Who else? Ken?
I didn't get one. My husband did.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get one. So I came down to see.
What's up?
I came down here to see if he took my name off. I didn't know. And I knew my parcel number was wrong, right off the bat. I didn't even have to go look at last year's tax bill to find that out.
Is your name on last year's tax bill?
Yeah, it's on the one I'm paying here this next month too. But it wasn't on this new letter. And I own part of that property. And I have a right to get a decent letter on it.
I will add to that. I think there are a number of people that own in conjunction with other people, and only one person got a letter. I mean, that's my case, for example. I have 4 taxable properties. I was the one that got a letter. Arthur never got a letter. I'm responsible, and he was way upset. I mean, he's upset.
Well, don't think I was.
Part of it. I understand you, and I don't know if it's ripped off on Arthur, but that's okay. But everybody on that tax thing should have gotten the same letter. Someone else. Sure.
Anyone do it, Townshend, I'd like to say as important as this meeting is, I'm not very impressed that we only got 3 out of 5 listers.
Yeah, that's another thing. And how come you people don't know what he's doing? How are you going to stick up for this next year? You didn't go out with him, you didn't write anything down, you didn't look over his 7 areas that he's got for criteria on land and on buildings. How are you going to stand up with it next year when he's not here?
Actually, that's not true.
Oh, yes it is. He just told me that.
Each of us has gone out with Dave at various times when he was starting out on data collection and then reviewing his results. And all of us had complete confidence in his judgment and his methodology. We have his depreciation schedules, his land schedules.
We don't have it.
Everything in our office.
We don't have it. We haven't been able to see it.
Come into our office and we'll show you.
No, you should have it out here for us to see.
He had books of
Should have come to the
everything.
letter.
Books of everything here. Had you scheduled an appointment with him, all of this was here. I was here for 3 hours on Saturday, sitting in on discussions with taxpayers. I was here for an hour this morning talking to people. Everyone I talked to on their way out, I asked specifically, well, were your questions answered? Do you feel satisfied? And every single person said yes. So those who came in got the information they were seeking.
If I may add to, this project is documented and has been documented as it's going along. This will be turned over to the town will have the information. So you will be able to follow the course of the last year through a report. You will receive, the town will have that. I'm bound as a certified assessor, as a member of the International Association of Assessing Officials, to provide the town with a USPAP compliant report, a report that basically the nuts and bolts of this project.
Where did you go to get your sales?
Townshend.
No, you didn't get them in Townshend because there hasn't been anything sold here.
Well,
as a matter of fact, we spent many hours.
Let's not get into a brief.
No, where did you get them? I mean, if you got to use something.
I was going to answer that,
Understand.
Kit.
Well, Dave, what good is that document if you haven't been into people's houses,
Yeah.
like, and other people? What good is the document to us?
I've made my attempts to get into homes. If I haven't been into someone's home by now, either one or two things. Either my letter was lost in the mail, or from the mailbox to your home, or you don't want me in your home.
Come on.
Well,
No, that's not, no.
Letters being lost.
Okay.
We had many calls in our office of people who said, I misplaced the card that the assessor left when he tried to get into my house. Could you please give me the number so that we can call them?
I would also like just to
Have it
add,
unlocked.
in this taxpayer's defense too, she did come in, we discussed her situations, value-wise, her concerns, and we will be meeting for an inspection of her property. I'll be doing it personally. That's already been determined.
I just would like to say once again that I think that this letter has been the upshot of it all. Especially when there's another reappraisal coming. And I'm not sure, I can see what you wanted out of this letter, but I'm not sure that's the way that it is interpreted by the taxpayers. And I'm still not sure how to correct or address that in light of the real or legal reappraisal notification is yet to come. And there are a number of taxpayers that have just taken this and think that it's their reappraisal and will be budgeting appropriately. Well, Robin, I mean, you can be upset with that.
Reading comprehension, people call them.
Robin, I don't appreciate you insulting half of the town. I really don't.
Thank you.
Reading
I need to say that.
Well, it's all right in the letter.
says to call us 603.
But it's an interpretation. I mean, I will stand and say, and I believe that David will agree with me that in hindsight, that this was not a good idea, and that it certainly caused a misinterpretation and misunderstanding of where the reappraisal is at and what's happening in the reappraisal.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of calls that I've got as well as people have come from here. I think somehow we, I, you, some of us were all in conjunction somehow have to continue to make them understand that this isn't what it is. I mean, this is not the legal reappraisal notification letter that they can grieve.
And we've been answering those calls in the lister's office as well, explaining to them that this was a preliminary value, giving them the opportunity to come in and discuss it, and that we were a long way from the grievance process.
I'd like to say something. I feel pretty much responsible for that letter, because you checked with all the listers, and Steve was there. And I was on the board before when the other reappraisal was done. We should have had a few more sentences in there that we should have put in, but I did. It bothered me, and over the weekend, Sunday, I sort of thought, why didn't I say something? So I'm responsible for that, because I was on the last, I mean, we approved Dave's letter, so, and I was on before and I should have caught it, and I didn't. So, I should have known.
We all.
And now that it's happened, we all need to be on the same page in intercepting the taxpayers' understanding or misunderstanding, either way, of how it goes. I mean, and you folks know, you're around town, there's a lot of grumbling. There's a lot.
I haven't, anybody I've talked to has been happy, honest.
Ooh, I'll tell you.
I guess
I can tell you that.
I've had more calls on the 911 numbers.
Yes.
Honest to God, I have. Because they don't let the insurance company know.
Yeah,
it was
but
unfortunate
anyhow,
those went out at the same time,
Is
because
there-
people were confused.
is there
with
more
the
from the
911
public?
things.
Oh, well, Dave, are you gonna do the grievances? Or are the regular listers gonna do
You
them?
know, well, that is a function of the Board of Listers, of the official grievance. But I will be available at the grievances.
Okay,
So,
and do you know when they will be?
well, the dates for the grievances will be determined. They're yet to be determined, the actual dates.
Anything else? Anita? Anybody from the public have anything else? The select board, anybody on the select
I've been
board?
going through the 2013 preliminary value of Alpha by name, and I've got a couple of questions, if you don't mind. The Townshend School District is listed as having half an acre of land, and its new value is $17,000. Leland Gray Union High School is listed as having 6.84, and its new value is $68,400.
Leland Gray owns more than one parcel of land. They're only on there once.
They're only on there once. The town barn, Townsend Town Barn has 2.1 acres, and it's listed at $44,800. And the
44,000?
44,000.
That building we just paid 800,000
Yeah.
for?
Let's not have interruptions.
The town of Townsend Fire Department has 0 acres, and it's listed at $122,300. The state of Vermont Route 30 covered bridge is $886,400. Now, I've looked through, I can find Valley Cares, I can find the West River Valley Supported Limited, so that's a couple of parcels.
Valley Cares is only 176.
Valley Cares is only 176. The West River Valley Supported Limited Liability Corporation is 15.5. And I can't find Grace Cottage Hospital anywhere. I can't find the Messenger Valley Pharmacy anywhere.
I'm still, if I may address before you go too far, I'm still addressing the exempt parcels. So you won't find Grace Cottages yet. It was intentionally left off there because there is no value as yet that's formal.
Right, but it still doesn't give people something to
compare to the hospital.
To compare. Correct.
David, was West River Valley Assisted Living and the Independent Living on that sheet?
I did not see the independent living. I can see West River Valley, and I can see the new property that they purchased for the extension.
Did I understand you correct? Valley Care is 176,000? And they spent 8 or 9 million to build it?
Yes.
It don't sound like I'd want to own that. I think I would like to own it.
There you go. You would like to, yeah.
Valley Care's valuation is determined strictly from the state. No one in the town has any authority over that.
And the exempt properties are being finalized.
The listers have to assess it.
Yeah, we did.
You have to assess those buildings.
Yeah, it's assessed using a state-driven formula. They determine, the end resulting value is determined by a state-driven formula. So yes, the listers do physically, yes, they value it, but it's all formulated by state.
How come the town garage is so
State
low?
number. Pardon?
How come the value for
I'm
that?
still formalizing exempt properties.
Oh,
Well, so does this all mean that we have to have a new reassessment?
I believe that this means that the assessment isn't complete, that it
Isn't complete,
still
what you
is
said?
not
Not
complete, which leaves us at this point, because I believe that it was supposed to be by May 1st. So when we're done with the public piece of this, the board is going to go into executive session and invite the listers and Mr. Mazoff to discuss some of the issues around that. But I wanted to take care of everybody. I promised I'd give them chances to maybe clarify some of what the issues are. So. Anything else from the public at all? Anything from the board?
There are a number of properties that I haven't been able to find on here, but they are in the nature of public buildings, so I assume they're not there yet.
Anything
Being finalized.
either Mr. Mazoff or anybody from the board of listers wants to say to the public or whatever?
I would move that we enter executive session to discuss contractual obligations and invite the listers and Mr. Mazoff.
Motion's made and seconded to enter executive session, discuss contractual matters. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
What's the foil for?
The foil, it keeps it from making noise.
It's a muffler.
It's a kind of muffler.
And welcome, Bob Frigo. Valley Cares. Agreement.
And I know yours is clean, but mine's the original, so I'm going to give the original, Mr. Chair. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if Mr. Harris wants to.
There are a couple of minor typographical changes.
What does that
like Mr.
say?
Harris, and she's no longer chair, Kit Martin is.
And she was never Mr. Harris.
She was never.
That's none of our business.
I'm not sure, but no. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the revised contract for the grant for Valley Cares?
Yes.
Yes.
Questions, comments, or anything about that revised contract, concerns from anyone?
No, I appreciate the paragraph. Short, sweet. Took me twice I had to read through it twice to find it, but
you did.
But I did.
Would Mr. Prego like to say anything?
No, I'm glad that the state was able to make that change to accommodate you. I think it did. It's a well-worded piece that fits in there well. So glad we can get that changed.
Good.
So I would entertain a motion to sign the grant agreement, Vermont Community Development Program grant agreement between the state of Vermont and the town of Townsend for Valley Cares.
So moved.
I would also, I know as chair, I'm not sure where I'm at with making motions, but I do know that this document is made out for signature by Hetty Harris, who's now vice chair, and I would move that we authorize Hetty Harris to sign that contract.
I think that can be made as part of the original motion.
The addendum to it. Just that way we've got to change paperwork and it does less confusion. I mean,
And as long as the minutes
I don't care.
reflect that.
Can the minutes reflect that Kit Martin made the whole motion then, instead of Hetty made the motion?
The minutes can reflect that Hetty made the motion.
Okay.
And as it's the vote of the board to have Hetty sign on behalf of the Townshend Selectboard.
So, for any discussion?
Has it been seconded?
Yep.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, any abstentions?
Here it goes.
Here it goes. You brought all that paper with you and didn't even need it.
No, well, thank you.
Seconded by whom?
Somebody.
Yeah.
Chad always seconds things. What's today's date?
Chad's on the hook for half if he seconds it.
Today's the 6th. 6th of May.
All right, seconded by Chad.
5-6. I think that you're in charge of seconds.
Sorry. And if I can have your clean copy, Kit, you don't need a copy. You need a copy for your files?
I think this only needs to be signed in
I
one
just-
place, but
Yep, no, that's fine.
No, as long as there's one available 5 years
I
from
can,
now,
no,
6 years from now.
I can make an extra.
No.
I just want to photocopy
No,
the signature pages for
The resolution.
Mr. Grego and give him the
You can
original.
do that.
And we'll keep a
Right.
copy here, and then we'll get it back.
Oh, and this,
We'll get a copy back in the mail.
everybody needs
The
to
rest
sign
of the
this
board
thing.
needs a signature.
I should have put photo.
Is that the rest of the board, or is that once it's all resolved and everything comes back?
It's the resolution that the board made tonight.
Yep.
Okay. And who will be providing oversight of this?
I mean,
Well, I think our agreement was that Kim was gonna do that, and that
Okay.
they were going to be paying her, or paying us for any time
For
that.
any of that time, right? I just wasn't sure who was gonna do, so I'm quite happy with that.
Congratulations, Kim. Moved to overseer.
I'm not sure if, for the record, I ought to read the resolution,
Probably should.
if that's,
Yeah, well, everybody has to sign it, whereas the town of Townsend has applied for funding under the Vermont Community Development Program as provided for in 10 VSA Chapter 29 and has received an award of funds under said provisions. And whereas the Agency of Commerce and Community Development has tendered a grant agreement number, so let me get the number. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows, that the legislative body of this municipality accepts and agrees to the terms and conditions of said grant agreement. Okay, that, and we have to fill in name and title. Is hereby designated as the person with overall administrative responsibility for the VCDP activities related to this grant agreement.
it shall be you as the quasi chair of the board.
And that name and title, who is either the chief executive officer as defined by 10 VSA 683-8, or is the town manager, the city manager, or the town administrator, hereby designated as the authorizing official to execute the grant agreement and other such documents. Well, I've already executed the grant agreement, so I guess that's...
Yes, may be necessary to secure these funds.
Right. Anyway, so who are we putting down as the overall administrator? Is that Kim?
No, that would be you as quasi chair of the board, and Kim will be your appointee. You know what it says? The chair of the board.
And you're going to want a copy of the motion with the minutes, yeah, in the minutes motion, right?
And even though she's not the chair of the board, the motion,
Was that she's the chair of the board concerning this matter.
She has signatory authority.
she has signatory authority for this matter.
Okay, but we need two different names for two different things here. This one that I'm just filling in with my name, hereby designated as the authorizing official to execute the grant agreement and other such documents as may be necessary to secure these funds.
That's Bob Krago. Bob, wake up.
You're talking about line 2?
Yeah.
Yes. No, line 3.
No.
No,
Line 3.
Yeah, line 3 would be either Kit or you.
Yeah, well, it's me, because I just signed the other thing, but what about line 2?
You know, that can go either way. You can designate Kim on that line, or you could designate Valley Cares Inc. as the grant administrator.
Let's do
I would
that.
say Valley Cares Inc. Okay.
I mean, our next step is we'll have to have, we'll work with your attorney to have a grants administration and management agreement
Right.
drawn up, and then a loan security agreement drawn up, so.
This calls for type names. We're gonna let you type it.
I don't have enough coin.
We'll sign, you can decipher and type
To get a typewriter.
Right.
Down to actually outside.
I'm gonna plug here.
And I made an excuse from them. I'm going to copy these 2 pages.
Say that again?
Four.
4. Well, everybody has 4 levels.
I know. Oh, I see mean you. The other David.
Oh.
He's gone. You know these things.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Anything else?
Hold on just a second, because you should
Yeah,
get a copy of that.
I'll get that. Appreciate you
Right.
Thank you,
making,
sir.
arranging things so I could make
Yeah,
it here.
good luck.
Thanks.
Make it work well, all that stuff.
We'll do our best.
It's going up fast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're caught up break with no lead, so we made about 2 or 3 weeks in the beginning. So
Wonderful. And the weather's been good for you.
it's beautiful.
Not for my garden, but for you.
Yeah. It's supposed to rain, you said, right? It's gonna rain on
Tomorrow, I think. No, Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
It's not a real problem with that.
You mean,
Okay, so that takes care of that. Under old business, new business, any other business?
We do need to go into executive session for personnel.
Yeah.
I have a review that I need to share with the board.
For a review.
For a
Okay.
review.
And for another matter.
I'm asking for executive session.
Okay.
Kim is asking for executive session.
Would you want to do, why don't we do that?
We should write her and then she'll.
Oh, I think doing yours will probably be faster, David.
We get no matter what.
We'll have to be here no matter what. No matter what.
It's true.
So, because Kim wants to come in with us, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like Kim wants to come in with us.
Oh, okay.
See, so why?
Yes, that makes much more sense. I'm sorry.
Session at 10 p.m. on Monday night. As a result of executive session, I would entertain a motion for the pay raise for
Robert LaCour? He's coming out of probation and he will be earning $16.50 an hour.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? I would entertain a motion for pay order number 05063. Whoops, we got to do a figure.
We gotta do an addition, or subtraction.
Subtraction. Yeah, subtraction.
That's 6 months, Bob, so you never read it.
Is that
It was a 90-day review.
90 day.
Oh, it's a 90-day review?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Couldn't remember the term. I can't keep track of time.
So you can make the motion, man.
I'm gonna do that, can you check that?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna move that
Yes.
we pay PO 5063, it's a general fund. It's for period ending 5/22/2013 in the amount of $5,395.08.
That was the motion.
That is the motion.
Second, Chad.
Second, yeah. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Now, under new business.
Not funny, kid.
Henny, you didn't say welcome back.
So you're gonna punish me, huh?
Any other business?
Adjourn.
Oh, could I have a little executive session for about 40 minutes?
I think you can.
Sure. Do you have some more?
Executive session.
Eddie's kind of dropping here.
Oh, I'm thinking,
My flask has been empty for an hour and a half. I'm ready to go, but as soon as you guys are...
I'm thinking there would be a quorum even if I went home to bed.
Pretty sure I remember.
All those in favor of adjournment? Aye. Opposed?
Okay, so I didn't...